All right, guys, welcome to the June 2026 general meeting of the McKinney Amateur Radio Club. If you've not checked in yet, the meeting self-check-in code is 24. I don't know why there's not a letter in there, it's random. So, but 24, that is 24 phonetically. Okay, so please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right.
There we go. Okay, I'm Ron, WW2 CBI, your communications director. So let me give you the rundown on our repeaters. We've got 4 sites. First one's 75380, which is just right over here up on the water tower. It's working well, and the Echolink link into it's working well. Everything's fine. Thank you, Bob. Bob, K5CRX, hosts the Echolink connection. And Custer, Virginia, that's our VHF backup site. It's down. It's in queue after the Melissa Fairview projects. New Hope got a UHF for that, but we're waiting on a status update for the installation of the new tower. I've contacted the station corporate engineer, broadcast engineer, for an update on that. I didn't hear anything in time for the meeting. Melissa, the Melissa Water Tower, we have our UHF there with, and APRS VHF, and that's getting a refurb, actually new logos painted on the tank for the high school. Supposed to be a tank refurb maintenance project. Anyway, it's a great logo on the outside. AT&T and T-Mobile's taken all their antennas down. They've put up their temporary posts. We have our UHF on one of them. Seems to be working quite well from what I'm hearing from the propagation reports. It's working better at 60 feet above ground than 170 feet.
Carry on.
Yeah, carry on. That's propagation for you. Yeah. But in any case, where we're at, we've got conduit installed in the ground to bury the conduit this time from the water tower over to our hut, and it's ready for having the heliacs pulled in it. AT&T is going to go up there right now, installing their equipment on the leasehold around the water tower. When they get done, what the project manager wants to do is to try to take the gap between T-Mobile and AT&T and have their subcontractor remount our antennas. So we would get a shot right at the beginning. So if there's any issues, we would have time at the end to do something about it. Otherwise, we end up with an expensive issue. So that's just great. I'm really excited about that. So this coming week, we're scheduling to stage materials for Melissa up there in one of their work buildings for the installation. Now, once AT&T finishes, then they'll pull down the pole, and I'll shut off the repeater for the duration until we're able to get it back up again. And let's see, what else have we got? So there'll be a fun work party to pull the heliacs through the conduit. It's about 90 feet of conduit, so it'll be kind of fun. It's 1/2 inch, that's easy peasy, and there's 7/8. That's where the fun will be, right? So that'll be great. Let's see. Once we get the conduit, the heliacs pulled, then we'll test it, make sure everything's okay, and then start bringing the repeater and APRS back up online. Fairview's been our big project in parallel with Melissa, so that's been interesting, juggling 2 things at the same time with a lot of the same volunteers. Club has just been awesome with volunteers and donations. of time, of material, expertise, and cash donations. Just marvelous. So with Fairview, there's been lots of work completed, a lot of progress. One of the key items on my list is firming up the climber's work on top of the tower. You may recall from the last time I reported, he went up the tower on the inside but didn't go out because of the wind. So we've arranged for him to go up and look topside, make sure we've got all the details, and we know how the penetration is going to look on the top side, because it's very tight. There's a whole lot more to report, and with that, I'll hand it off to Dick, N5RKP. Dick.
Thank you, Ron. Okay. Yeah, we've made a whole lot of progress since last month's meeting, so we're going to step you through real quick and kind of give you an overview of what's happening. So once again, for some people who don't realize, here's a brief project scope. We're preparing a shipping container to accommodate the electronics that required us to put the studs in, the insulation, the sheetrock, and to do painting and all that. All that work has been completed as of 6/2. You'll see some pictures in a second. Then the electric to install the switches, the outlets, the lights, that was completed last Saturday after the breakfast. So that's all taken care of. And then the HVAC mini split. Jeff Tucker, who used to have his own HVAC business, he's one of our members, and Lance were out there last week. They got it installed. There's a problem with the board on the external unit, and that is coming in? It is in? Just got it today. We're probably going to hold off on putting that back in until we get the regular power restored, but I'll tell you about that in just a second. We're going to install RF and IP cables and antennas from the top of the tower roof all the way down inside and out through conduit to our container. Establish an operating UHF repeater initially, but we'll have all the antennas and stuff up there to take care of everything else. We will establish an operating APRS system, VHF, Echolink, National Weather Service link, their cameras. That'll all be accommodated from a wiring perspective, but we'll add the equipment as we see how our funding goes. Future electronics, we hope to actually turn up a VHF repeater there. We have some frequency issues we're going to have to work through. Ron's working that. PepLink is a mobile router that's going to hopefully allow us to do connection of all of our sites without having to use any kind of a microwave AirMux, Ubiquity AirMux, anything like that. I've been convinced that we're going to get the extra ones donated to us, so we still haven't got them yet, but we're working on it. Echolink and National Weather Service future stuff. So the build milestones, the container interior build out is all complete except for the mini split. We just talked about that. It's got the board that's due in. The Helix cable connectors and adapters, Dave and Ron worked on that, and the order's been placed, and Dave's already got a response saying the 7/8 Helix is on the way. So that's moving very good. We didn't know what the lead time would be, so we're hearing good things so far about that. Trenching conduits from the tower to the container, that's on hold. Several people in the room. In fact, if you did any work on the repeaters so far, this project, raise your hand. Let everybody see. There's a lot of people who have done a lot of work. Lance, get your hand up. Raise your hand. Okay. Just a lot of work on there. But so when we were, so when we were hand digging, we realized that the conduits that come out from the water tower that are about 40 to 48 inches deep are right underneath an equipment cabinet for Rise Broadband. They shouldn't have put their cabinet there, so not only does it block us, it blocks the 4 remaining conduits that the town could lease to somebody else or the town could use for their own purposes. So there's active discussion going on as recently as last week with Rise. They sent someone out there last Thursday or so. Lance saw them out there. They're looking at it, and they're going to have to physically move their container. We don't know when that's going to happen, but they have acknowledged it's their problem and theirs to fix. So as soon as we get word on that, then we can go ahead and get the rest of the stuff scheduled. So for now, the trenching of the conduits is on hold. Install electric cable runs and antennas. Once again, can't do much till we get that conduit fixed. It's also the same situation for the electrician. He stopped out about a week ago just to swing by and see how things are going. And he said with 2 days' notice, he can get out there and finish that. All of his conduit material has been delivered to the site. So it's just a matter of scheduling his time and getting all that taken care of. The electronics installation, once again, June, July timeframe, dependent on the move of that cabinet from Rise. Same thing of test and turn up dependent on everything else falling in place. But we have it ready to launch as soon as we get that rise situation taken care of. So this is what it looked like with the sheetrock completed in there, ready for the paint. And we had a paint crew there, June 1st and 2nd. There were 4 of us out there doing the painting. It was really hot in there, but we got the paint donated, and all the materials are there for us. All we had to do is just show up and put the labor in there. So we did that. And then June the 6th, last Saturday, the electrical installation, that was putting in the switches, the outlets, things like that. So there's a few folks there. There was a problem with the electric, though. Well, there's the interior view as of June the 6th. So they got the work done. You can see the painting and all the things on there. Upper right-hand corner, you can see the mini split, the inside unit. So we'll have full air conditioning, obviously. And then strips along the walls to plug in the various equipment. The 3 boxes you see in the middle with the angle plates removed, that is going to be the 3 separate circuits coming in. The town is providing the power to us. I had originally thought they had a generator there. They have a generator they can tow in there, nothing permanent, but when we started digging out for the conduits, they go, you know what, we probably ought to use that opportunity to install a new generator there. So eventually there will be a generator, and we'll have the generator back up. And then the box in the lower left-hand corner there is kind of where all the cables will come in. Okay, we have a problem with electric. Kind of reminds you of Uncle Fester with the light bulbs in his ear, you know, but anyway, I think we got that problem fixed just today, actually. And then that's what it looks like actually today. Lance and I were out there the other day, yesterday, I guess, and we put the shelves in. They're movable. These were donated to us by the town of Fairview. They had 4 of them in there, and they didn't realize they had them, so we pulled 2 of them out. They can do with as they wish, and we got these 2 left to help us. So back there in the left-hand corner behind the left shelf will be a relay rack where the equipment will be mounted on that. And I think that was being donated, isn't it, Ron? Yeah, that's what I thought so. Okay, great. Okay. So there's some pictures for you. That's the outside mini split, and so it's looking real good. So just some numbers real quick for the funds. Once again, we said there would be estimate at the time, about 2-3 months ago, was $23,159 for the total not to exceed. MARC funds was going to be about $13,159. Everybody voted on them, so that's the amount that would come out of our treasury. As was mentioned earlier by Ron, we've got a lot of really great donations that came in. So there's been about 5,200 more than what we thought when we did the initial presentation. We said there was one big donation of 10, but other members have come forward and said, we'll buy the paint, we'll buy, conduit, whatever. Just a lot of really good outpouring of support, both in materials as well as financial support from members. So we thank you all very much for that. Total donations then, with adding the 10,000 in, 24 separate donations for a total of 15,000. Just totally awesome. Spent so far, I think Lance still has a big expenditure to turn in for reimbursement, but we spent about $5,500 so far. We have about 12,600. These are estimates, guys. It's going to come and go. Some prices are higher, some are lower. But just I want to give you a rough idea. So the total estimated spend's about $18,150 right now, which means that we're going to have somewhere around 5,000 net funds available to keep us to the good, once again, because of all the big donations that came in, so we appreciate that. This is early estimate, so we'll see how it goes, but Jerry's tracking this separately. You saw something on her report earlier where Fairview Repeater is totally separate track from everything, so we can see what's coming in and what's going out. So there's the fund calculations for the build-out. Donations from club members, like I said, 15,219, 24 separate donations. We've had 14 members that have assisted with labor over a 23-day period of time. About 13 members over about 13 member days doing trenches, 24 member days over 15 days doing container build-out, 10 members over 2 days for electrical, and we're going to need help, and we'll have a note that'll go out to everybody. So when we get the rest of the schedule figured out, we're probably going to need help, like Ron was saying, from Melissa pulling heliax cable. This will be actually coming off of a spool inside the base of the tower going straight up for the climber. So we'll just need some help. Probably about 4 people will need to assist with that. But as we get closer, we'll communicate, let everybody know what we need. So that should help with getting all the stuff in for the cable runs. And then there's still an auction being planned, I think. Is that right? Do we have a date yet for that?
Right now.
Right now?
Yeah,
We'll talk about it.
Oh, good. Yeah, the auction's coming. And so a lot of good stuff in the auction there. So that'll, you know, the board will come to the membership, decide where the funds would go for this. But I think for the Fairview repeater right now, as you can see, we're in very excellent shape. And we don't do any expenditures until we understand what's going on with it. And, you know, I'll make the authorization that they can go ahead and do it since it, you know, follows along with what we said we were going to do. It meets the requirements, and we get 2 or 3 people looking at it before we actually go ahead and authorize the purchase. So we still need help, not a whole lot anymore. A lot of great work's been done up till now, a lot of really, really good efforts by a lot of people. I think, as you can see, the container's looking pretty awesome in there. So once we get that HVAC turned on, you know, I think that's where Ron's second home's going to be. So it's just... Okay, any questions? Yes, sir. Yeah.
Do we already have the relay rack, or is it still an open deed? It's been donated.
It's been donated. If you got another one, you want to... Oh, you do? Okay, we'll talk. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
Extra parts that we don't.
Extra, yeah, we brought a lot of extra parts back, like paintbrushes and rollers and stuff, and we're going to, you know, make accommodations later on. You're going to tell them about that, or you want to do it now? All right, so any of this stuff on this side of the table is leftover stuff. So we've got mud for sheetrock, we've got, look like tape for sheetrock, we've got sheetrock materials, lots of different screws and stuff. We wanted to get them out of the container. We don't want that to be a big, you know, container collection spot, so.
Baggies for the screws, so take a bag.
Yeah, there's baggies there. Yeah, connectors, all kinds of good stuff. So, any other questions? Okay, back to the net. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dick. And thank you to everybody who has donated either financially or their time or both to the project. And thank you, Dick and Ron and Lance and everybody else for getting out there and managing this. This is a big project and it's coming together very nice. Can't wait to see that couch and big screen TV we're going to stick in there. I think that's going to be awesome. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that, Ron? Refrigerator. I'm thinking about a bathroom too, but I don't know. Okay. Mr. Flouchet, come on up, sir.
Thank you.
Another contest.
It might be. It may not be. I know this is the month you wait for all year. It's like Christmas. The anticipation's here. It's less than 3 weeks away. I'm just ready. We got the clicker. Is it working?
Maybe.
All right. First off, maybe it's not. Is it me? Yeah. Click. There it is. Our beautiful T-shirts. Some of us are wearing them tonight. Jeff Rupp, thank you for designing them. If you're here and you haven't got your T-shirts yet, please come see me. I still got a few more to hand out. If you're not here, if you're on Zoom or watching this from afar and I owe you a T-shirt, please let me know if you want it before the field day. Let me know so I can get it delivered to you, or you can come pick it up or whatever. We can airmail it or whatever. But they turned out awesome. I have now one extra shirt for sale. It is an extra large. It's the only size I got. If anybody's interested and you need one, let me know. Still $25. The PayPal and Square links, please don't order any more shirts off of that because we're not making any more. I think I owe somebody, at least one person, somebody on that, a little confusion there. So they were kind of, James here, there we go. They were set up to pay, not to order, but we'll get that figured out next year. It worked out really well. We're making about $7 a shirt for the club. So turned out really well. It's going to give us about $400, a little extra $400 for the kitty, for the all the expenses we're going on. So it turned out really well. 63 shirts this year, 63, 30 more than last year. So awesome. Good job, everybody. Coming around with them. So good deal. Y'all want to do that again next year? Yeah. All right. I think we've started a tradition, haven't we? And Miss Christie ordered a shirt for her and her son. So they'll be representing also, and some fine anonymous donator paid for hers. So very nice. So that's awesome. Again, this club is full of very generous people. But a reminder, we're going to be inside. It'll be air conditioned, but we still need to hydrate. We're going to be out there in the morning putting up towers. We'll be in and out. We'll be Sunday morning, Sunday noonish. We'll be taking down towers. We need to be hydrated, and you can't catch up with hydration. You have to get it before you get tired and dehydrated. So, don't forget to hydrate. New location, we've talked about it. Anna Country RV Resort out where Lance lives. Thanks to them again for donating the facilities. They're awesome. Air conditioning, did I mention that? Air conditioning in June, it's weird. We'll have some flashbacks to Irwin Park here in a little bit, but I think we're going to be much more comfortable, probably more productive. It's got lots of advantages. Indoor plumbing, for those of you that aren't used to it, indoor plumbing, yes. So there is an outdoor one, but it goes indoors when you come in. So you don't have to use the trenches, so we're good. Take down this address. It's easy to get to, but it's real easy to plug into your phone, your GPS or whatever, and get it to straight out 121 towards Bonham, just kind of at the southern end of Anna. So, and it's an awesome location. You're going to see some pictures of it here pretty quick. In fact, there it is right there. That's the clubhouse. A couple of advantages it has. One is we're going to have a separate room for VE testing, Dave. In fact, the door here on the right with the two windows next to it, that's the office area, and that's where we're going to be doing VE testing. It is also air conditioned, I understand. So hopefully we got plenty of room in there. The main doors in the center there, that's where we're going to be doing our operating. And as we're looking at it, this is the east side. So the covered porch is nice and shady in the afternoon. The back side is the west side, and it burns like the fires of Hades, so in the afternoon. So we'll be avoiding that. There'll be a couple of antennas over there, but once they're set, they're set. So what is Field Day? Well, this is what the ARRL says. It's the open house. Every June we do this. We've been doing it since 1933 as the hobby. And can you imagine going out in the field with equipment from 1933 and setting up and making contacts? Just think of the batteries alone that were required and the tube radios and the things that they needed back then, and how well we've got it today with the equipment that we've got that's fairly small, lightweight, robust compared to what they had back then. But they started it. They got things going for us. But throughout North America, we're going to set up temporary transmitting stations in public places to demonstrate our skill and to show that we can do that. We can deploy when emergencies occur or if we're needed to assist out in whatever public service we need to. And we're kind of going to have, and I'm going to show you, kind of a 3 antenna setup. For one setup is going to be kind of like, we could put that up real quick and get going on the air. The other one's kind of a medium where we could get it in position. And then the towers is kind of a permanent, for like a permanent long-term deal. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's an operations event, right? It's not a... All right, we're taking score though. Anyway, but Field Day is a lot of fun, and it's what we look forward to every year. We're going to learn to operate in abnormal circumstances under less than optimal conditions. We've made the conditions a little better this year with air conditioning, but again, it's less than optimal. It's getting out in the field and showing we can do that. We're going to develop skills to meet the challenges of emergency preparedness. That's what it's all about, to show that we can get out there and operate when we need to. Acquaint the general public. We're open. Anybody wants to come through and see what we're doing. It's a little less traveled spot than Irwin Park was, but we probably still get some folks coming out there wanting to know what we're doing. And even though it's not a contest, we want to work as many stations as we can on the bands we're allowed on. We cannot operate on 60 meters, 30, 17, or 12 meters, which is the WARC bands. Those are the non-contesting bands. But 6 meters, which I understand has been on fire here lately, 10 meters, 15, 20, 40, 80. We should have capabilities to work on all of those out there. Plus, we'll have a VHF. We'll have one of the VHF go boxes out there ready to go. So it's going to be fun. The purpose of Field Day, we're going to have fun, all right? Just remember that when you're sweating putting them towers up. This is fun. It's all good stuff. Introduce new MARC members to getting out in the field, emergency operations setting up and what the conditions are and how we do it. We've developed a lot of good ways to do this over the years. by setting up. There's a lot of good institutional memory and experience in this club, and there's some new folks that are going to learn from that. So come on out. Remember, it's amateur radio. It's not professional radio. This is amateur radio, and everybody started at the beginning at one time or another. So if you come out, first off, getting out there, if you're new, and getting out there is the first step, and we welcome that. Please ask questions. Please pay attention. Please let us know what maybe we could do better if you got better eyes on it, or if you don't understand what we're doing, ask questions. We appreciate that. We want to get you on the air too. Everybody's got their thing that they like to do in amateur radio. It could be the Weekly Nets. It could be APRIS. It could be CW. It could be whatever. I like to go to parks. I like to do HF from parks. That's my thing. This kind of fits in real well with that. But everybody needs to experience a little bit of all the other things. And if you haven't experienced HF out in the field somewhere, this is a good time to do that. And there's a lot of good folks that will love to help you get going. It's not a contest, but we're going to make as many QSOs as possible, right? Exactly. We'll meet new people and make new friends. It's an awesome place to do that. It certainly worked for me, starting off with the first field day I went to until hopefully this year we'll meet some new people, get to spend some time together. Introduce new people to amateur radio. If somebody stops by and says, "What are you guys doing?" We can show them that. And get some new areas of ham radio areas that you want to interest in. This may be your thing. Would you come out there and see that? Go, man, I really like doing that. It's time to spend some money and get going. We're going to eat a little bit, a lot. Breakfast and a taco out in the field is just awesome. So that's the first thing up Saturday morning. And did we mention we're going to have some fun, right? And speaking of teaching people stuff, that's me showing Kiri. That's a radio. That's why we're here, Kiri. Those are radios. All right, what's the schedule for field day? Monday. No, not today. Saturday, June 27th, starting early in the morning, about 7 o'clock. Lance and his crew is going to be there. He's going to have breakfast ready for us. You know that, don't you? What? You're going to serve breakfast? Sure. Okay, good. You can count on Lance. Can't count much, but you can count on him. So about 8 o'clock, we'll get started putting the towers up. Our tower master, Dave Pekarski, will get us going on that and get things set out. We'll talk about the layout here in a second. 1 o'clock, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. We're going to take a group photo after the towers are set up, and nobody eats lunch until the photo's taken because I want my photo. All right? I like the group photos, so don't feed nobody till the photo's taken. All right, Lance? And everybody's going to be in it, and you're going to see why in a minute. At 1 o'clock, 1800 UTC, the operating event begins, the on-air event begins. Worldwide, everybody starts at the same time. It starts off with a bang. You'll look at if you've got a radio and the band scope going at 12:59, and then look at it at 1 o'clock. It'll be covered up, especially 20 meters, but that's the awesomeness of events like Field Day. 2 o'clock, Dave and his crew going to be doing VE testing. Thank you, Dave, and thank you, VE crew. So everybody that's been working with Bob and the crew, be in there taking that, trying to get that ticket for extra. I'm a little behind, Bob. I'm sorry, but I'm going to catch up this week before Thursday, okay? We'll get in there. 4:30, John Donovan has volunteered to a fox hunting class. So he's going to be out either in where the VE testing was or maybe on the front porch, depends on how it is out there, talking to us about fox hunting, the ins and outs, secrets, things to do with fox hunting. So that's going to be an awesome class. And then at 6 o'clock, time for dinner. And you see that it's chili cook-off. We're going to talk more about that in a second. That's why I like those group pictures. That's 2024, the first one we did out at Irwin Park. Look at that crew. Look at that crew. And then that's last year, a little bigger crew. Look at them T-shirts. That was the first year of the T-shirt contest. So a lot of matching T-shirts in there, so that looks awesome. A lot of happy people. That's why I like those pictures. Saturday or Sunday, what are we going to do? We're going to continue on-air operations all night, Saturday night and into the morning. If you've never operated at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's a great time to be on the radio. It's a little different. Sometimes there's some strange people out there. Sometimes there's not. And sometimes it's just us that are strange, all right? And if you're operating and you hear snoring from a pickup truck over in the parking lot, that's just Larry. So it's all right. It happens. It's not wild critters. It's just Larry, but it's all right. Sunday morning, we're going to have a light breakfast served, right, Lance? Yeah. Maybe even a heavy breakfast, right? Good. And takedown will begin. We've been taking down somewhere around 10, 11 o'clock in the morning on Sundays. It gets hot. In Irwin Park, it was hot under the pavilion. We waited a little bit last year to meet, I think it was 1,000 or more QSOs or something like that. The bands were hopping. This year that we're inside, we may consider going a little longer, but we're going to have to monitor how hot it is outside also, because takedown is physical labor, and it gets, it's going to take some work out there. So I will have on the sign-up sheet slots for operation till noon, but anything probably after 10 o'clock is not guaranteed, 10 to 11, 11 to noon. We may be operating, we may not. Go ahead and sign up if you want, but we'll just see when we're going to take down. And then the on-air operations, the field day concludes at 1 o'clock, 1800 UTC time. That's when the band scope goes from crazy to nothing again. And then they say the bands are dead, right? Setup and takedown, the two most important things for field day to be successful. We're going to be setting up again 3 towers this year, 3 of our 30-foot towers. And they do take some work. We need a lot of volunteers. We need a lot of strong backs and arms. So if you can do that, we appreciate that. Be prepared for physical labor, because that's what it is, and it's hot. All right. We need high-vis vest. We need gloves. Those towers are sitting out in the sun, and they get hot, and things are rubbing and all that stuff. So please wear some gloves to handle them. Wear a hat. Yep, hats, please. Jerry has got us a donation of hard hats also. For the club, so we'll have those out there available to wear, so just in case. Fortunately, knock on wood, we've never had any injuries out here since I've been involved in field day, but we want to prevent anything as much as possible, so please wear that. Roy's not here, but somebody remind him to wear closed-toed shoes. No flip-flops, okay? So protect them little toesies out there. Plus, where we're going to be setting up the antennas, it is a field. It's a grassy field. There's going to be some chiggers and boogers and little creepy crawly things out there too that you don't want between your toes. So I hope so. Yeah. Yep. He's a flip-flop expert, that's for sure. Bring a hat. Again, a hat. Sunblock while we're out there. Bug spray. Again, it's going to be in a field. It hadn't been mowed out there lately, has it? Every 2 weeks? Okay. Are we going to be in the right 2-week period? Okay. We'll figure that out. Drink water, drink Gatorade, hydrate. If you are a coffee drinker, go lightly on the coffee that morning. If you're a Monster drink, energy drink type person, please don't. Not that day. All right. It's going to be too hot. Maybe one at the most. I'll tell you a story. A few years ago, I was getting a roof on my house in Dallas. And the roofing crew comes out there, and about 2 hours in, this guy gets sick. He gets sicker than anything. And I look at him and say, man, what's the matter? He goes, I don't feel good. So get him in, cool him off, all that stuff. Found out the night before he'd been out having a lot of fun, and he figured he'd get up the next morning and slam six Monster drinks. Yes. And get up on the roof in July and put a roof on. He was in the emergency room that evening, so please don't do that. Please don't do that. And lots of hands makes quicker and more efficient work, makes it a little better on everybody. It makes it safer too. If you're physically unable, if you can't get out there, for that, we've got some other stuff to do. We're going to be setting up inside, getting everything ready. So I understand that, so that's not a problem. We've got plenty of things to do. And if we don't have nothing for you to do, we'll find something. There's a rock to be painted somewhere, I'm sure. We got some paint, don't we? Yeah. All right. Chris worked so hard last year putting that in that Tim got tired. Good job, Chris. There you go. You rested for everybody. Good job, Chris. And Joe, what an awesome mentor, man. Getting her going there. That's just great. As you can see there, it takes a lot of hands to get them towers up. It is Armstrong work. There's nothing mechanical about it. It's the way we do it. It's the way it would be done in an emergency situation. Let's think like in Puerto Rico or somewhere where they're devastated by a hurricane or something. Ham radio operator is going to go down there and get the quickest antenna they can get up pretty quickly. But if they've got some time, we can get some equipment like that down there. We're going to set up a tower like this to get the information out, to make contacts, to get word out. And that's exactly why we practice on these towers and get them set up every year, and that's why the club has them. So, and it's a once-a-year reminder on how to do it, just in case we need to do it for real. Lots of work, lots of hands make it a lot easier. Dave Pekarsky, again, is our tower antenna setup director and taker downer director. So please watch him. He's directing a symphony there. I think it's Beethoven's Fifth, but it is pretty much getting everybody in line. It's like herding cats sometimes with a purpose. So please listen to him. Again, Roy, who we make fun of for his flip-flops, he will be our overall safety director. So keep an ear out for him. If he mentions something, don't do that, please do this, let's do it a little safer. He's there to keep an eye on that. In fact, everybody's job is to keep an eye on that, but Roy's the guy to do that. But if you see something that looks unsafe, you see something that you're not comfortable with, bring it up to me, bring it up to one of the board members, or just say, hey, dude, stop. Don't do that no more. Let's get it right. Whoever's doing whatever you see may not be aware that it's not safe. If it gets to that point, that's fine. Rather be safe than sorry. Again, we've never had any injuries that I know of at field days. We want to keep that good record going, so we'll keep that going. Again, other setup duties are available. Computers need to be set up, network needs to be set up. A lot of this will be done some of the night before, but we'll have lots of jobs to get out there and done. It takes a lot of folks to get this thing going, so it'll be good. On-air operations, again, begins at 1800 UTC, which is 1 o'clock p.m. Central Standard. No, we're Central Daylight Savings Time, aren't we? Yes. Anyway, it's 1800, 1 o'clock here. Once you get on the air, there's an exchange between our station and the station you're contacting, and it's a standard exchange. It's our call sign, what the class is, and what the section is. For us, that is Whiskey 5, Mike Romeo Charlie, W5 MRC. That's our club call sign. We're going to operate 4A, and we're in North Texas. I'll explain to you a little more about that, how that breaks down. But that exchange is the same whether you're operating phone on sideband, whether you're operating CW, or you're working one of the digital codes, and or digital modes. And we're going to have stations for all three of those. No signal reports are required for field day. So the only exchange, the only thing you're going to tell each other is who you are, what your class is, where you're at. Pretty simple, pretty easy. If you want to talk a little bit more, if the other crew wants to talk a little bit more, that's fine. It can be done. Field day's sometimes really busy. Some people work it as a contest and they're just rapid fire with the information and move on to the next one. You'll find out how it works listening for a little while as we're on the air to see how different stations work things. But where does that information come from? Well, looking at these guys, they're not sure, but they're awful sweaty. Brand, you're putting in some work there, buddy. But that's going to be the difference between Irwin Park and Anna this year. It's going to be a little more comfortable for the operating positions. But look at that, 4 operating positions there, 2 people on each one operating, 1 logging. That's an awesome way to do it. If it's your first, if you've never done this before, if you want to sit down with somebody and log, that way you listen, you start understanding what's going on, you're putting the information in the computer, you get the hang of things. That is a great way to learn. That's the way I did it first year with Larry over there. Got me going, and then he threw me into the briar patch and made me talk on the radio. Talk? I don't want to talk, but that's a great way to do it. So where do the class and sections come from? Each station will have a classification. The class is the number of transmitters, and for us we're going to have 4, and the ARRL classification. So these are their classifications. A is for a club or non-club portable station. That's what we'll have with 3 or more persons. That's where we come in as a Class A. B can be 1 or 2 persons. It could be a club. Some clubs only have 2 people come out. They're set up portable somewhere. If you want to go out on your own and set up portable somewhere, you could be a Class B station. C is mobile stations, and mobile stations must be capable of operating while in motion. The rule doesn't say it has to be in motion, just must be capable of operating while in motion. So a mobile station can be your car, can be an RV, can be a train, I guess so. It could be a wagon if it's mobile, yeah. Are you capable of operating while in motion? You don't have to be in motion. Could be an airplane. Could wheelchair? Yes. Could be we have a bicycle CW guy in the back there. James could be video operating, mobile. D for home stations. A lot of folks like to work field day, some at home. They'll come out with us, come back home, work on their own call sign as a D station. Now D is home, marking off of just regular electrical power. E is a home station on battery power, on emergency power, maybe a generator or a battery or a water wheel. I'm sure somebody has one of those somewhere to keep going. And F stations are people working out of a emergency operations center. The Lucas Club works out of the Lucas Fire Department's EOC, so they always operate as an F. But we're going to be class 4 transmitters, A for club. You're going to hear other stations that are class 21A. There's some big clubs out there with lots of transmitters. I have to do the math to figure out how many bands and how many modes and all that stuff, but there's a couple of big stations out there that's going to astonish you that they're going to be out there operating like that. Got Jerry and her brother out there, Roy, and looks like Bryn, and then Tim and Chris working operating last year, operating operationally and getting the QSOs in, the numbers in, the contacts in. It's awesome. We had an awesome time last year. So, and then sections are assigned by the ARRL. As you can see by that map, in fact, that map is from last year. Each one of those different colors is a section. Most states are one section. Texas, we're broke up into 3 sections: North Texas, South Texas, and West Texas. California, I think, has like 10 sections. New York has a whole bunch of sections. And then Canada has their own sections assigned by their radio society up there. So we are North Texas, November Tango X-ray. So that's where those come together. Our call sign, the number of transmitters, what our class is, and what our section is. And again, last year we got every state, every section in the U.S., and it doesn't show Puerto Rico, but we got that. Oh yeah, Florida's broke up into several too. And we got most up in Canada. Now, if it's a non-US or non-Canadian station, it's a DX station. So there will be operators from Mexico. There's usually some Mexico stations. We've hit Australia, New Zealand, we'll hit Europe some. So any contact with a station that's not US or Canada is listed as DX. So again, we're operating as a 4A North Texas, so 4 transmitters capable of simultaneous transmissions, simultaneous operation, and we must all be in simultaneous operation at least once during the 24-hour period. I guarantee you that'll happen within the first hour, so we'll have all 4 going. So again, A for club station, 3 or more operators, North Texas, so 4A, November Tango X-ray, or North Texas or November Tango X-ray, phonetically. Now there's 2 ways once you're on the air to make contacts. You can call CQ, which if you can find a open band, an open frequency to get on, and it'll be crowded, especially 20 meters. We'll be operating on 10, 15, 40 also, but it'll be crowded. But if you can find an open place to get on there, call CQ. You can call CQ and it goes CQ Field Day, W5 Mike Romeo Charlie, CQ Field Day. And you're looking, you become the hunted. You're the station that everybody wants to contact. And then stations will start replying back to you with their call signs. They want you to recognize them by your call sign. Does this sound, anybody POTA people, does this sound familiar? It's exactly the way POTA works. You're calling CQ and they're hunting for you. So you repeat their call sign, and then you tell them something like please copy or I am, and you repeat what we are, Class 4A, November Tango X-ray, or North Texas. That way they can be understood. They will repeat back what their class and what their section is. You log it, and you move on to the next one. You can say 73, thank you very much. How's the weather up there? Are you doing well? You having fun? Whatever you want, you can go as fast or you can go as slow as you want to. That's the one way to do it. That's calling CQ. The other way to do it is, oh my goodness, Ginger, you stole some ice cream from Linus there. I can't believe it. Look at that. Ginger's taking a break from calling CQ, but Linus wants his ice cream. I don't know how that happened. And Rob and Janice over there just knocking them out. Good job. The other way is called search and pounce. So you can scan the frequency that you're assigned, and each station will have the frequencies assigned, and you'll know what they are. But hunting for contacts, you scan your assigned band, you hear somebody calling CQ, and you decide to answer them. So it could be station W5XYJ calling CQ, and you answer up with Whiskey 5 Mike Romeo Charlie. Give them the call sign. They recognize your call sign. Hopefully they hear your call sign. If it's in the clear, if you're the only one calling, they'd hear that. It could be a pileup where they hear a whole bunch of call signs, and they may say, okay, station ending in Romeo Charlie. Well, you know that's your station, so you answer with the whole call sign. They'll recognize you, give you their classification and their section, and then you repeat back our class and section, 4A North Texas. Very simple exchange, very quick exchange, make it what you want. A lot of stations are going to want that information and keep on going. And then we log it into the logging program that we'll go over in just a second. Any questions so far on how to operate and what the exchange is at field day? All good? Awesome. Again, operating into the night, that's some of the best operations out there. Sun goes down, it gets a little different atmosphere. Got some family operations here. And then Roy is looking at us going, where's my ice cream, Ginger? So, yeah, everybody wanted ice cream last year. There may be some this year, I'm not sure. All right, logging. So why do we do all this? Why do we keep track? I don't know. It's an operations deal, not a contest, but we do keep count of how many contacts we make, and we do it through the N3 FJP logging program. We've been using that since before I got here. It's an older program. It looks like an Access database because that's what it is, but it works. It works. It's great for logging. It's great not only for field day, but for contesting if you want to do some light contesting. And it's great for when the contest is over for reporting out, which is what I'll do once it's over, is pulling out all the stats and the reports that have to go to ARRL. And if you're doing that at home, if you're keeping log at home to send out, it's good for pulling out that Cabrillo file that they want and the information that they need at the end of the contest operating session. So that's what the screen looks like on the logging computers. Has this got one of them Hooduses on it? There we go. There's a whole lot of stuff on here, a whole lot of information on here, but when you're logging, you worry about these three call class section. That's the entry fields right there. Again, the call number we just talked about, the call sign we just talked about, enter that there. Enter the class, 4A, or whatever their class is. And the cool thing is the software is smart enough to know that a call sign is going to end in a letter. So if you put in, let's say like W5MRC, and then you type in 1, it's going to tab over to the next one because it knows the class starts with a number. So, or you can tab over either way, but it knows the class is going to be a number and a letter, and then the section goes here. So North Texas, Ohio, OH, whatever the section is that you get back from them. Now, here's a cool thing. All of these things here, starting with DX and 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to Canada, those are the sections that we'll be interested in entering. So generally, say under the 1 calling area, that's the sections: Connecticut, Eastern Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont, so on. If you don't know for sure, you can always refer to that. And once a section is entered into the record keeping, that will change colors. It'll go from black to purple, I believe it is. So you'll know how many sections we've got. But if you don't know, if the guy says, Northern New York, what's the abbreviation on that? And you can always look here. It's pretty good information. It'll do all that stuff. Once you hit enter, the contact will show up in this blank area here. It'll fill up with contacts. So you can go back and see how many contacts we've made. You can make sure that it's there. You can edit the contact. It's real easy to click on it, edit, and change things. If you make a mistake, it's no big deal. If you get hung up, don't worry. Just holler at one of us. We can help you fix it. It's not a problem. The score statistics will be right up here in the corner. So it'll count all the contacts that are made, all the CW contacts, the digital contacts, the phone contacts. It'll keep a running total. The 4 computers, the 4 login computers will be networked together, so it'll count them all together. So we'll keep a running deal. There's a map that I showed you we can pull down. We should have on the big screen TV in the location, so we can kind of keep an eye on where we're at and what's going on. It's just a lot of neat information. If you forget who we are, it'll be at the bottom here. And then one thing to change, when you sit down to operate, please hit the operator tab here and put your information in. There'll be a long list. It'll have the club call sign and all that, but put for operator who you are, your call sign, and your initials. So that way I can keep track with who made however many contacts. And please use the same initials every time. Last year I had the same call sign with like 3 or 4 different sets of initials. So it was the same person, they just forgot. So, but it's all right. I think so, yeah, but maybe, which is hard, but because he's a machine. But also the mode, the band and the mode will show down here, but make sure you've got the right band and mode showing for where you're at. One station is going to be primarily 20 meters, so it'll probably be that for most of the deal. But another station we can move around. The digital station should change because it'll be hooked in with WSJT, but we need just to make sure that that changes with it. So pretty easy. If there's a problem, let me know. Roger?
Yeah, when you're doing FTA, does it auto-populate all 3 of those fields?
Yes. Yeah. So it will. That's why I sign up for the first FTA slot to make sure it works. Because every year there's always a little population. But yeah, and you know better than I do how all that works, but they talk to each other and it should you don't have to do any logging on FTA. It auto-populates that and keeps that going. There's our numbers from last year. As you can see, the CW contacts, we made 60, 1,118 phone contacts, 271 digital contacts. And you can see down here, you can see the different sections, how they've changed color from black, so we know that we contacted them. So that running total will be up in the corner to keep us up with what's going on. Again, there's the map. We'll have that displayed so we know. Some people will go out and hunt for a specific state. You know, late at night we had a couple people do that. We needed Wyoming real bad last year. Somebody found it, you know, so it was awesome, and we filled everything in pretty easy. That's one of our logging computers. In fact, they're sitting on my dining room table right now, updating and making sure everything's working, and so we'll have them networked a little bit to try them out and make sure that they're all good before we get out there. All right, what's it going to look like once we get out there to the RV resort? Again, that's the basic building. So VE testing here, operating in here. That's the front door. Around backside are some amenities for the people that live at the RV place. So we'll talk about that in a second. These are the front doors here as you come in. So to the right of the front doors with these nice, comfortable chairs, that's where the CW station is going to be, guys. I don't know if you're going to have those chairs, but it'll be right by this window. And we're putting the stations as close to the windows as we can because that's where the coax is going to come in. As we go around the room, between this fancy little thing here and this corner, we're going to have the digital station right here. Not next to a window, but that's a compromise. This door here is to a storage area. We won't be going in there. We shouldn't be going in there. So around the room, one of the phone stations will be next to this window. And as you can see, there's a large area in the middle with tables and chairs to be set up for eating, hanging out, whatever. There's a kitchen in this corner. So this corner goes around to here. Right here's where the 20-meter station is going to be. We figure those are the hungriest people, so it's close to the kitchen. Get you a snack. Again, next to the window, though, for the coax to come in. And the kitchen's right here. As we go around this wall, this is the same wall here. This door is for the indoor plumbing, the restroom. So again, and a coffee pot, but very important, both of those, and one causes the other. And then there's a lounge over here. You'll find me on this couch, pretty easy. So if you have a problem, come wake me up. We'll be good. But that's the layout inside. Again, at Irwin, we had to bring everything. Irwin Park provided ground and a cover and some trees. They're providing a nice indoor place, tables, chairs, a kitchen, great amenities. So again, it's a step up from last year. So we don't need to bring tables. Last year I had begged for tables, and y'all did good. I mean, we brought tables out and all that stuff, but they'll be there. There's working like this table, the straight tables, there's the round tables, there's chairs. Now the chairs that are there besides the lounge chairs, but these metal chairs, they're great, they're foldable chairs. They do get hard after a while, so if you're operating, if you want to bring a little something more comfortable to sit in, please help yourself to do that. So this is an overhead view of the location. So this white area, this is the building. And again, that's how we're going to have the station set up. And this is the diagram where the antennas are going to be. So the antenna towers are going to be across this little driveway here. Probably, that's a huge area, so probably right along in here. So we'll set the 3 antenna towers up. We'll have to run the coax. This is one of the things we're going to have to do. We're going to have to run the coax across this road, and we're building kind of like a speed bump with a race in between to run the coax through, so we can, because we still have to use that as an entry, as an exit. So we'll have that running out there to protect the coax as it goes across the roadway there. It's going to be some long runs of coax. Each tower's got at least 150 feet of coax. We're probably going to need some more. So if we get some volunteers to bring a 100-foot run of coax, I'd rather have more than we need than not enough to help us get to these windows. But come across here, you'll see right here, this is, okay, I'll repeat again. The antenna towers are going to feed the A and B stations, the sideband phone stations. So 20 meters, 10 meters, 15 meters, and 40 meters on the 3 towers here. Doc's bringing his antenna trailer out, and we're going to park it there. And how tall is that, Doc?
About 68.
About 68 feet. He's got a dipole that he's hooked up to that that's movable, so it can change bands. So he's going to set that up next to the building, 68 feet up, and then have a dipole, and it's going to feed the CW station. So we could set it for whatever frequency we want to start with, and then with some, you say it's pretty easy to change, it just takes a little bit. We have some band flexibility there on that for the CW station for the guys doing that. And then down here, we'll have an in-fed half-wave antenna in that grassy area, and that will feed the digital station. And it'll have some band flexibility. It's 10 meters to 80 meters. It's the antennas that's going to be in the Go kits. We got the wires cut for last week and tuned up, so those will be ready to go. So that's our setup. Again, the antenna towers feeding stations A and B, long runs of coax, the trailer station C for CW, and feeding station D for digital. Isn't it funny how A, B, C, D kind of worked out for that? That's cool. Oop, wrong button. Now, if you're wondering if an antenna next to the building will work, an in-fed half-wave antenna next to the building, when y'all were building the VHF Go kits, me and Sid were operating the WPX contacts from that one of those windows into an in-fed half-wave antenna right in that same area, and we got number 2 in the 5th call area for multi-operator, single transmitter, low power, which is 100 watts. So, yeah, that just came out today. Got that today. Good job, Sid. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun making contact. And we got to try out several radios, the club radios, my radios. It was just a lot of fun in and out doing that. We made a lot of DX contacts too. So it's a great spot for low noise, getting out there. Now, is one antenna going to interfere with the other antenna? That question's been asked. I don't know until we get them set up. So the CW is going to interfere with the digital with the sideband with the, I don't know. We'll find out once we get up, and we may have to make some adjustments. We'll just see. That's part of being amateurs, right? Exactly. We'll figure it out. Now, one thing we need to be mindful of is parking is going to be, especially for setup and takedown, at a premium. This area here in this red box, that park is parking only for the people that reside at the RV park, because at this end of the building is a laundry facility, a shower facility, and a restroom for them. So we need to keep that open for them because they pay and we're not paying nothing. So it's a business. They're there to make money and they're letting us use this for free. So we need to be mindful of that to keep this area open. Now, these first 2 turn-ins, that's where Our president and first lady are going to have their RV, and Dick's going to have his RV out there. They've already made reservations for that. But both y'all coming out Friday night? Okay. I'm imagining that for us long-term people, that I'll be out there early. We could probably park in this driveway here as long as we don't have to move our cars during the week. So that'll take several vehicles both sides here to park. Folks that are in and out, we'll have to figure out where to park. The trailer will be here, but we'll get you parked in there. But we do need to keep it open for traffic flow to go here, just in case. Lance, do you have any empty spots or anticipate any empty spots that week?
Scott has one at this moment, no, I don't.
Okay, so probably shouldn't be any people in and out with an RV that weekend that we know of, right? That you're anticipating. That could change, so we do need to have room for that, so we need to accommodate that. So just be mindful out there when you're parking, keep that area open, because they're graciously allowing us to use this. VE testing Saturday. Again, thanks Dave, thanks crew, and thanks Bob for getting us ready. So hopefully we'll have a banner group of people out there taking the test and passing the test. $15 cash, is that correct, Dave?
$15 unless it's a youth, it's $5.
A ute. It's been a long time since I've been a youth, so. 45? Okay. Couple of different times, huh? Maybe about 3, I'm thinking. I went to DISD, I had to figure that one out, so. And if you know it, bring your FRN number, is that, Dave? That's necessary too, isn't it?
Yes.
If we know our FRN?
FRN number,
Okay,
if they come early, they can always apply for it before they take the test.
okay. If you do not have an FRN number, correct?
But it's better that they have their FRN number, pen and pencil, and photo ID and cash.
Okay, photo ID, I forgot about that one, so, good. All right, good deal. So all you folks that are in the class with me, you know who you are. We'll all have that. And there's a couple of people testing, there's one of those times, Chad.
And a copy of their license. So I can send it in and make things go faster.
Okay, a copy of their current license, their current ticket, all right. Okay. Help me remember that, and I'll throw it out there in the email as we get closer, Dave, okay? All right, John Donovan again is going to do that fox hunting class, and he's going to bring Martin the low power fox. Low energy fox? No, he's got lots of energy, he's just low power, right? So he'll be out there somewhere in that neighborhood for us to hunt, and John's going to give us a lot of good clues on how to do that. Equipment needed, and some tips and tricks on how to do that. John and that guy sitting next to you, pretty well experts on that, right? No? I hope so, yeah. Well, it is a training class, that's right. So it is an educational thing for the class, and the fox hunt is thrown in for free because it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun. This is where Martin was hiding at Bonham State Park here at the Potluck Pota when we found him, so it was pretty cool. Food. We are going to eat. We're going to eat well. Just look around. Now, do you trust that guy to feed you? No, but it's worked out so far. So you're right. And hopefully Kerry will be here to help. And I think Chad's volunteering to help a little bit too, so we're going to have some good help. I'm still here. So, yeah. And I think most everybody else is still here. So, all right. We mentioned it, and y'all think we're crazy, but for dinner Saturday night, since we're in the air conditioning, we're going to do a chili cook-off. Now, it may be hotter than right there, but that's all the fun. So, please, how many folks, or anybody interested in bringing chili out? I know there's several of you good chili makers out there. Awesome. Good deal. So, a couple of rules: no food prep in the kitchen. So prep it, get it ready before you come out. It has to do with the waste disposal and all that stuff. We don't want to clog it up. No food down the sink, but prep your chili at home and bring it out to field day. Dick, you're going to be in the RV, so you may be prepping there. Bring your own burner. If you bring like an open flame burner, we may have to do that outside. Bring a heat source or a crock pot. We can do that inside. Bring enough chili for testing and for dinner. To help us share around for dinner, and bring the condiments that you like to bring. for your personal chili. There will be normal condiments there, salt, pepper, things like that, provided by the Anna RV Park. We may settle that age-old question of beans or no beans. Yes, I know what my vote is. No beans. That's right. Yeah, well, maybe that's why there's a hot dog on that can. I don't know, but we'll find out. We're going to each issue everybody there for dinner two coupons each. And as you go around tasting the chili, you can put your coupons in their official chili coupon counting cup, which looks suspiciously just like a MARC coffee cup. And each chili entry will have that coffee cup to take home to remember the chili cook-off. So you could drop one or both of your coupons into whatever cup you want to. Bowls, spoons, napkins will be provided. Serving spoons, ladles will be provided. Drinks, water, Gatorade, things like that will be there. So it's all going to be easy. Lance is making this very easy. But the chili with the most coupons after dinner wins. Any questions on that? We wanted to do chili at winter, and winter weather killed winter field day for us. So isn't that weird? You know, we couldn't do winter field day because it was winter. What you going to win? We're working on that. We're working on it. So, there you go. Yeah, at the winter field day site. Yeah, you might win a bucket of, stuff. Yeah, that'd be great. Maybe some hunks of coax too, or something like that. Screws. I'm working on that for what we're going to get. All right. Goals for field day. We want to operate the radios on battery power, 100% battery power. That gets us bonus points. We are in a facility with electricity, but we don't have to use it. And we've got each of the Go Kits has a 20 amp hour battery, which lasts surprisingly long as we've used them in the past. So we're going to start with those. We've got a couple of 100 amp hour batteries and some other batteries coming out there, so we'll see that. If you've got a 100 amp hour battery, you may bring it, so keep us going there and keep it charged up. We'll have some solar panels out there to recharge it once they run down. We want to do WinLink email from the digital station. I tried last year, and either it was me, the station, or everything was busy, but we're going to try that again this year. I want to receive the ARRL W1AW bulletin for bonus points. I'd like for somebody to volunteer to do that, to make that their goal for that weekend. There's a schedule of the times it comes out, both on the phone bands and the CW bands, or CW frequencies. So if you're interested in receiving that, recording it, and I think, Tim, you mentioned, I've got to look at the rules, that they start sending that before the official start. So, and it can be copied and recorded before then. So, but if anybody's interested in doing that for me, get with me tonight or before field day. I'll get you the rules on that, and that would take one more thing off to where we know it's going to happen and get us some bonus points we haven't been getting in the past. We got our volunteers to help us increase our CW QSOs. So Larry and James will be the two primary on CW. And we've got, and I forget your name, sir? Dennis is here. He's a CW operator. And anybody who's interested in operating CW this year, we're going to have one station set aside for that. I'll talk about that in here in a second. So that's going to be awesome. Those CW, each QSO CW counts 2 points. Each digital QSO counts 2 points. And the reason they say that is because it takes longer to make the QSOs. I think with some of you guys, probably with James and his speed, it probably doesn't take as long to make that QSO, but we'll see. But that's awesome. So that gets our score up, even though it's an operating session, not a anyway. And we want to exceed last year's QSO count. So last year we did really well. 15 meters for us was weird, and I don't know if it was the band or the radio, but it just didn't. That one radio on 15 meters just didn't work out. I think if we get everything popping this year, we're going to do really good. 20 meters has been weird here lately. Anybody been out lately or operating on 20 meters and the sun's messing with it, things like that? It's been a little rough. Hopefully that'll be over. Yeah, that'll hard. But 6 meters, I saw that was up today, and I saw some people that were out doing POTA on 6 meters today. So that's unusual. So hopefully that'll be going, and we might have a plan for that out there. Again, 100% battery power. We got 2 of these 200 amp hour batteries from Steve Ullman available to us. That's some honking batteries right there. That one's sitting in my room at home, and I put the charger on it. It ran for a while, but that ought to keep us going for a long time. So each one of the radios has to be on battery for us to get the bonus points. Each of the radios has to be running on battery power, and the digital station laptop has to be running on some other power than mains power, so battery power for that. We'll probably have a jackery or something for that. And the reason the digital station has to do that is because the computer is controlling the radio, push to talk, sending the signal and all that stuff, so it has to be. The other logging laptops can be operating on mains power. So, because they're just logging, they're not and the network connection can be on the mains power. That's one thing I've worried about in years past is the network switch with the program that we use. If it goes down, it messes up the database and the QSO count, and it's a booger. But this year we won't have that problem. So, thanks to Steve Ullman for volunteering those batteries. He's got one to me. He's going to get the other one to me before field day. And other than being heavy, they're going to be awesome. There's Manny, Mo, and Jack, our 3 Go kits. They will be there, each easy to identify by color. And we're kind of giving them workout. Last year was their first year, and work a few bugs out. And then me and Sid here recently worked on the WPX contest, worked some bugs out. Lance has been troubleshooting them. I think they're ready to go this year, so we'll give them a little massage or rub down, get them going, and then work them hard out there. Yes, sir? Yeah. All Yaesu radios this year, Larry is volunteering his 991 for the CW station. So all Yaesu radios, my ICOM won't be there, so nobody can blame my ICOM radio for interfering. All right? So, but it'll be awesome. How are we going to achieve our goals? First off, we need volunteers, especially for setup and takedown. That is the most labor-intensive group, so we need as many people to help take down as we do setup, if not more, because gravity is a cruel mistress, and bringing them towers down requires some good, strong people to help do that. So please, please, please volunteer for that. We need operators and loggers. Please don't let any time elapse with nobody sitting at that radio. I think last year we kept the radios going as long as we could. Visitor greeters, I don't have a sign up for that, but I think everybody, if we get visitors, please help us greet them. We will have a table at the door with information, with our handouts and some stickers and things like that for any visitors that come by. Feel free to bring any family members that may be interested or not interested, or kids that are busy or not busy. It's funny, once kids get there, they don't want to come, and once they're there, it's like, man, this stuff's pretty cool, especially if we get them on the air. And you saw from the pictures, we've gotten kids on the air, and they do pretty well, so it's a lot of fun. Again, I need somebody to listen for the ARRL message from Whiskey 1 Alpha Whiskey. I've added a new slot this year, and it kind of comes from the last couple of years, and for lack of a better term, we've called it a porter, an inside porter, or a cleanup crew. Last year, looking around, I'd look around and there'd be half empty water bottles here and there on the tables, maybe some trash floating around, things just kind of out of place. I've asked for if we could have some volunteers just to kind of monitor that, kind of pick up a little bit. And I'm not saying if somebody's a pig and makes a mess, you have to clean that up, but just kind of make sure that the environment's kind of nice and clean. Monitor the trash cans. We'll have some indoor trash cans there. Once they start getting full, we'll take care of that. But just somebody to help us maintain a nice environment inside. We're not outside. We're not in the barn anymore. We're going to be inside, so we got to keep that place nice and clean. So if folks could volunteer for that. And the hours that I put on the sign-up list are approximate. So, if you could work part of that time or a little bit of that time, that's great. I appreciate that. We'll see how that works out. Things to bring. In the years past, again, we've had to bring everything. Things I'm asking for this year is pretty simple. If we could get a couple of 6 to 8 foot step ladders out there to help with the towers, get them up, those are awesome. And we're going to need some coax. If you've got 100 feet of coax, please bring that. I'd rather have too much than not enough to make that run. Again, we've got 4 runs of 150 feet. So, and it's about 200 and some odd feet to that window. So you can see where we're short. Plus the other antennas, we'll get there. But if you bring something, please put your call sign at least on it. Put a piece of blue tape on it, write your call sign on it or something. Yes, sir?
What coax are you using?
I'll use anything you bring me unless it's like 316. RG8's fine. So it's a long run, but it's HF, so we're not going to lose as much, and we'll make up, especially for the towers, we'll make up the any loss with the gain on the tower. So RG8 is fine, and regular PL259s at the end. I've got a whole bunch of barrel connectors, so I think we should have plenty for that. So again, if you want to bring a comfortable chair, that'd be great. But again, put your name, put your call signs, put something on it to identify it. Every year I come home with something that I didn't have when I got there. So, and most of the time I've gotten it back to folks, but have something on it to identify yourself, identify it. The Sign Up Genius went active a couple hours ago, and it's funny because I put the Sign Up Genius on Discord, and by the time I got the 2 emails sent out, there was people already signing up from the link on Discord. So, yeah, there's some quick action, quick fingers there. But so it's the links on Discord, Groups.io, and Ham Club emails. You should already got at least one of those today. I'll send out more. Again, there's slots for setup, for takedown, the porters, the operating and logging. Again, this year, we just started last year at 1 hour slots. Before it was 2 hour slots, but it's decided to do 1 hour slots to get more people in. Please, for the first week from today till next Tuesday, limit yourself to 2 1 hour operating slots. That way everybody kind of gets a chance to get in there. Not everybody's quick fingers on the draw. But after next Tuesday at noon, it's free for all, first come, first serve for the operating slots. There's no limit on loggers. And again, loggers are very important. So we'll get there. But 1 hour on the radio, take a break, go do something else, get you back on the radio an hour. That'd be awesome. Again, knowing who's there to operate or who to expect or how many people to expect helps me kind of manage how things are going, and it helps me plan a little better for the operations. If you're going to operate from home, yes, sir. If you're going to operate from home, review the field day rules, decide what class you're going to operate, your mode, what you're going to operate on, and pick you some software. Again, I recommend the N3FJP. It makes it easy to report, but the N1MM, a bit of a learning curve, and I understand Polo's got field day options on that. If you do operate at home, this is when you submit your entries to ARRL. Your call sign here is kind of hard to read, but be sure under club or group name include McKinney Amateur Radio Club and spell it out right there so we could get a little bump from your work at home. And then it's pretty easy there. If you're operating FT8, be sure to check the special, my eyeballs are, special operating activity. It's under the advanced tab. Now the WSJTX 3.0 has got a couple more tabs after advanced, but this is the 2.7, I believe. But check that special operating activity, check field day, put your class and your section in there, and then go down here and be sure to check and put in field day for when it calls CQ, that your operating activity, so that other folks will be knowing that you're calling CQ. You might have to check that periodically for some reason. Last year, WSGTX was going back from field day to some other abbreviation, so you have to go in and fix that every year or every so often. Again, if you put that information in, it will show up over here with the 4A North Texas or whatever, and CQ field day. It's different than the normal FT8 exchanges. Normally with FT8 exchanges, the grid square you're in, the grid square they're in, the power, and all that stuff. You don't need that this year, or you don't need that for field day. All you need is the class and the section that you're in. You may get people that respond back to you operating just normally. You decide whether you want to keep that QSO or guess that they're a 1D station and where they're at. You can fill that in as you log it. And also with special activity, it brings up this window that shows the number of QSOs you made for during that. We're running out of time. Yes, we've seen this guy before. Yes, it is a contest. I don't care how many people says it's an operating session. It's a contest. We're keeping score. I want to beat last year. No tent camping. It's an RV park. Sorry. RVs must have reservations, so we just heard from Lance on that. We've got at least 2 out there. If you want to make a reservation, he said he's full, but give him your information in case something opens up. You want to test your personal equipment, that's fine, bring it out there. A lot of expertise will be there. However, if it interferes with the operations of the club stuff, we may ask you to do something else. And hydrate, 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 watch out for each other, and take breaks. There's the address. Any questions?
Yes.
Nick?
We're gonna have a satellite station or no?
Bran is our satellite guy. You gonna bring satellite stuff? Is that what you're gonna say? Yeah.
We are gonna have some satellite operations.
Cool.
Just need to pull the fast schedules a little bit closer, like within like about a week to 5 days before the prediction. So once I have those, I'll have them before field day starts. That
Awesome.
morning, and then we can figure out when we're gonna try for fast.
Okay. Nick, are you a satellite operator also? Okay, okay. If any, Brand's been done satellite. If anybody else wants to do satellites, bring your stuff out, do satellites, you're more than welcome to do so too. So that'd be great, and that counts. We put it in our QSOs. We get a bonus point for that. So Brand, for those on YouTube or whatever, said as we get closer to field day, he'll have the satellite passes, the information on that, so we'll know better then when we'll be doing satellite operations. It's open sky out there, so it ought to be awesome. So thanks, Brand, for doing that. Any other questions, comments?
Are you going to make table ramps, or do you have table ramps for the driveway? Table ramps.
We're going to make some, but if you've got some, I'd be happy.
Get about 30 feet worth, but if I remember right, RV entries are quite wide.
Yeah. Let's get together afterwards, you, me, and Lance, and we'll talk about that. How wide is that? Do you measure it? Your entry into your driveway. We'll talk about it afterwards. We're running out of time. Don't forget to hydrate. Let's have fun. You're going to get a whole bunch of emails from me between now and then. Please sign up, please sign up, please sign up, and I will see you at field day. Thank you.
So moved by Michael, W5MEF. Who's seconding? All right. Take a pick. Ginger, KI5TJE. All right. All in favor? All right. Go home.